Hey everybody, Sean here, and welcome to Revealing Truth. In the last video, there was a comment saying, why do you say God can do anything he wants to? God can't sin, and that person's correct. There's a few things God can't do, but the key to that phrase is wants to. The only thing that God can't do is act contrary to his own character and nature, and he doesn't want to do that. So while saying that God can do anything is incorrect, saying God can do anything he wants to is true. An even better way of stating this would be God can do anything in accordance with his nature, and he cannot do anything contrary to his nature. Look at it this way. A bachelor is someone who is not married. Someone can't be a bachelor and have a wife at the same time because that's contrary to the nature of bachelorhood. So it would be ridiculous to ask a bachelor how long he's been married. Here's another way of thinking about it. Fish swim in water and fish breathe underwater. But a fish cannot breathe outside of water, nor can a fish run through the forest like a deer. It's just not within a fish's nature to do those things. However, it is well within a fish's nature to do things like swim and breathe underwater. A fish can do anything that fish do. And the same applies with God. There are things God can't do because those things are outside or contrary to God's nature. So, with that being said, let's look at 5 things God can't do. Number 1, as the commenter posted, God cannot sin because God is just. To sin means to be in opposition to God. 2 Timothy 2:13 says that if we are faithless, he remains faithful because he cannot deny himself. That could be another one, and that he cannot deny himself. Paul reminds us that God cannot go against himself, therefore he cannot sin. James 1:13 reads, "When tempted, no one should say, 'God is tempting me,' for God cannot be tempted by evil. He does not tempt anyone." Because God can't sin, he can't tempt others to sin. If he tempted anyone to sin, then he would himself be sinning. And because God can't lie, we know he can't tempt anyone because he said it. So there's another one. But that brings us to the second one, which is kind of actually the fourth at this point, and that God can't lie. And that's stated clearly in Titus 1:2, as well as in Hebrews 6:18. Another thing God can't do is change. A fancy theological term for this is immutable. God is immutable. We read this in Malachi 3:6 and also in Hebrews 13:8. It states that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And in James 1:17, we read that every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like the shifting shadows. God can also not be pleased without faith. Hebrews 11:1 says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And Hebrews 11:6 says that without faith, it is impossible to please God. And the last thing we're going to list that God cannot do is make a mistake. In Job 37:16, we read that God is perfect in knowledge. And in Deuteronomy 32:4, we read that he is the rock. His works are perfect and all his ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong, upright and just is he. There's obviously more we could list, but there's 5, actually 7 things God can't do based on being outside or contrary to his nature. So I hope this clarifies the difference between God can do anything and God can do anything he wants to. And with that being said, feel free to leave your comments below. And until next time, take care and God bless.